Good evening, welcome to Doctors in Recital. This is our 2014 version. I'm your host, Steve March Torme. I'm proud to say this is my 5th year hosting this terrific event. I am determined to get it right this time. I want to try and memorize what I was going to say tonight and not have to use a script. But frankly, I've kind of been overwhelmed this week. I have to also host the HMO event next week. That's the Heavy Machine Operators in Recital. And since it's their first year, there's a lot of work to do, so I needed to write this out. And they got a forklift operator who whistles Flight of the Bumblebee with a mouthful of saltines. It's an amazing act. Just don't want to sit in the front row. Anyway, this is an evening comprised of practitioners in the medical field who have wonderful musical talents and who figured out a long time ago that they'd actually have to make a living to pay their bills. And when applying for a loan someday, have something to show other than, well, I got a couple of really cool old Fender amps and a vintage copy of Rubber Soul when listing their assets. When singers like myself get laryngitis, we don't call fellow musicians for help. We call these people. And we are very lucky because this area has great physicians. We're going to begin our show with a gentleman who, like myself, is back for his 5th year with us. He told me, Steve, if I don't go first, then don't bother asking me back for next year. Which I thought was a little nervy, but I admire a man who speaks his mind. Besides, his pedigree as a musician is earned on the spot, performing George Shearing's arrangement of Julie Stein's It's You or No One. Please welcome batting leadoff, Dr. Jack Harris. Our next performer is also a 5-year veteran of Doctors in Recital, and each year he comes up with a new take on something classic. In the Dan's household, music is often a collaborative affair. This year is no different. Accompanied by his talented wife, Chris, on piano. Here's Dr. Bruce Dans on the clarinet, known to some of us as the licorice stick, with his interpretation of Debussy's haunting Claire de Lune. Bruce and Chris Gans. Like I said, that is his 5th year performing with us, and every year he gets better. I do not know how. He is a terrific musician. All right, this lady is a leading dermatologist in Neenah. She's beautiful. She's smart as all get out. She's gracious. She's elegant. And she sings like a nightingale whose throat has been coated in wild sage honey. She also wrote that entire introduction, word for word, and handed it to me backstage. What am I supposed to do? Joining us for her 4th Doctors in Recital, singing Dove sono a bei momenti, which I believe I had at Carmela's last night. Thank you, Mr. From the Marriage of Figaro by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. In my words, here's the terrific Dr. Victoria Nicoletti.
Sono ansiosa di saper come il conte
I wasn't kidding about all those things I say. That's amazing somebody sings that beautifully. One more time for Victoria Negrete. Dr. Phyllis Lee is such a good musician, she probably could have foregone the medical practice and been playing in concert halls all of these years instead of tirelessly helping her patients, but my guess is that nurturing nature of hers was her real calling. Besides being the medical director for the Oshkosh Aurora Hospice and the Evergreen Retirement Community, Dr. Lee runs 3 half marathons a year and told me she's the oldest figure skater at the Oshkosh YMCA. She can still land a single toe loop and a single sow cow. Knowing her, those will soon be doubles. Back for her 5th year with us, performing Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a theme of Paganini 18th Variation, Dorothy Hamill's idol, Dr. Phyllis. Phyllis Lee. All right, next up is one of our rookies. This gentleman practiced psychiatry for years and supported his children's musical efforts before deciding that he wanted it on the fun. He's cutting his teeth here with a kind of a tough choice, but then again, he sat in an office and listened to people tell him their darkest secrets, and then had to dispense advice that hopefully would make their lives better, so this should be a breeze. Which is easy for me to say. I'm not a psychiatrist, though I occasionally do play one on the radio. And I didn't choose this song. I'm pretty sure he'll nail it. Here's Dr. Mike Panzer, accompanied by my friend, the oft-times misguided St. Louis Cardinal fan, Margaret Burton, on piano for The Impossible Dream. Let's welcome our first timer. Dr. Mike Panzer, my friend Margaret Burton. Maybe next year for the Cardinals. That was great. All right, our first rookie, followed by our other two first-timers. Phyllis Lee and Joe Tandu are not the only married couple performing tonight. Meredith Starling helped us put together our show last year, and right afterwards, she told me she wanted to sing this year, and I told her we'd love to have her. She asked if she could bring her husband to the show. I said, I could probably get him a ticket, sure. Probably one for your son, too. She said, no, I mean bring him into the show. So the more the merrier, I say. I do know this, the three most dangerous things a man can attempt are being a coal miner, telling your wife how to drive, and number one, being stupid enough to tell her how to sing. But Dr. John Sterling is anything but stupid. He is a dermatologist and an MOH. Who wrote this? Surgeon with Dermatologist Associates. And seeing as how both are from Nashville, we're going to country fry up Johnny Cash's Jackson for you. So y'all listen now. Hey, before we do this, this would be pretty cool if we can pull it off. Anybody backstage, any chance we can get a bass player and a drummer to help us out with this? What are the odds? Starlings, ladies and gentlemen. goes like this, right? Put the strap over. Lovely. Ready, boys? Ready, gang? 2, 3. One more time for the Starlings. I hope they'll be talking to each other after this show. Yes. We go to the bullpen now. One of our favorite veterans of doctors in Recital. John Campbell is a retired urologic surgeon with the Affinity Health System. He is currently furthering his studies in jazz with Matt Turner from Lawrence University. In his 5th year of performing for us, he has chosen 2 great selections. Johnny Mandel and Johnny Mercer's Emily, beautiful song, followed by the good one from Ipanema by Antonio Carlos Jobim. Enjoy John Campbell. This last year, our musical community lost one of its greatest assets, friends, supporters, and teachers all in one man. When I first moved to Appleton, the first person I was told to make sure I meet was Fred Sturm. I was told if you want to meet the right musicians, get an idea of what this area has to offer musically, you need to meet Fred. And they were right. Like Margaret Burton, the only failing Fred had was in the baseball team he faithfully followed, the Cubs. A pox you wouldn't wish upon anyone unless you really didn't like them or you just have a very sick sense of humor. Not that I would know about that. I've yet to meet one person who didn't like Fred Sturm. Even after he took ill in the last couple of years, whenever I visited him, he just wanted to talk baseball and music. He didn't want his friends bemoaning the state of his health. He was just a very nice, very well-educated, terrific musician, and his loss in the community, and especially at Lawrence University, is still being felt and will be for a long time. His contributions, though, will resonate for much longer than his loss, and he would want it that way. Dr. Campbell asked me if I could sing a song and dedicate it to Fred, so we're going to give it a shot. This is a song, the music was written by a funny guy named Charlie Chaplin. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Lighten your face with gladness, hide any trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Lighten your face with gladness, hide any trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Small, what's the use in crying? You'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. For you, Fred Sturm. One more time to John Campbell, wonderful piano player.